I got loyalty, got loyalty inside my DNA. I got loyalty, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. I was born like this, is born like this. Immaculate conception, I transform like this, perform like this. Without you, a new weapon. I don't contemplate, I meditate, then overcome. This that people against the bed. This that I got loyalty inside my DNA.
Welcome one and all to round 6 of the ISR AIC, and today Motorsport returns to one of its most iconic battlegrounds. This is Spa-Francorchamps. Set deep in the forest of the Ardennes, this circuit is long, legendary and utterly unforgiving. From Eau Rouge to Blanchimont, Spa has never been a track for the faint of heart, and it's where courage is tested and reputation is made. We've reached the halfway mark of Season 6 and the championship is as unpredictable as ever. From debut wins to shocking DNS, the storylines have been relentless, and Spa has become a bit of a staple on the ISR AIC calendar, and this man was the man who took the win last time out by a whopping 11 seconds in Season 5 of Mixed, a fantastic performance in mixed conditions. He stole the show, he starts from pole today, and with a clear track ahead, the opportunity to double up is standing right in front of him. But he'll be looking over his shoulder up, Spencer, McAllister, Vrazilov, and a whole host of other drivers looking to carve their name into this circuit's history. Maka, welcome back, and let's get underway.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's great to be back to back on races, but yeah, I'm super excited for today's race. As we know, as Toby said, this circuit is such a legendary circuit, so yes, welcome to Spa. Crown jewel of Belgium motorsport and one of the most iconic circuits on the planet. Set just outside of the town Spa, this circuit is fast, technical and totally unforgiving. And at just over 70 kilometers, it is one of our longest tracks on the calendar, and it is packed with 19 legendary corners like Les Sources and Eau Rouge, where bravery is not optional. Spa is a circuit truly to be feared, as it poses dangers almost like no other. Fast straights, sweeping corners, unpredictable weathers could combine to create a lethal combination. Since 1921, this place has pushed drivers to their limits, and today is not just a race, Toby, it's survival, as we could see speeds of up to 200 miles per hour. Buckle up, ladies and gents, this is Spa.
What a staple of a circuit this is, like you say, not just in real life but on the ISR AIC as well. Been coming here since season number 3. Olav Oddfund then lines up P22 and last. Championship contender Marcus Townend only P21, and then it's more championship contenders. Tolchard and Byrne only qualifying on the second to last row. Reinhard Ecker P18, he'll line up alongside Gareth Lennon, his worst result in quite some time. Christopher Petterson lines up P16, Josh Martin then next up in P15, Josh Wood P14, Craig Evans P13, the Scotsman lining up against the American, and then Douglas Anderson one last time out. He'll only start P12 today against the man he almost fought for the victory in Zach Swader. Tom McDonald, the first of the Maccas, will line up in P10, and then it's Jonathan Carrera in P9. Craig McDonald is bothered directly ahead of him in P8. He's next to Ed Cantwell for the start today. Kevin Jacobs actually qualified on pole position, but following his 5th-place grid penalty drops to P6. He's one to watch out for. Then it's Vrazilov and McAllister, their best starts in some time on the second row. Callum Spencer gets his best qualifying of the season, and just like last season, we see Andrew Pavia starting from the front row. Last season it was P2, this season he's done one better, Greg, in P number 1, and he'll be looking to repeat that feat, that 11-second victory we saw last season. But it is 5 red lights. And they are gone, and we are too. So Andrew Pavia looking like he's got the better start against Callum Spencer, covering off the inside line immediately, but Spencer's looking back to the inside. Is he able to throw it down the inside? He's a little bit too far back, but he'll go very tight to the inside, and the run down to Eau Rouge and Blanchimont begins now as we come down to Radion. Christopher Petterson in the background there, but it is Callum Spencer looking like he's lost the position to Colin McAllister as we thunder through Eau Rouge and Radion for the first time. Vrazilov side by side with Jacobs. Jacobs looking to make moves early. We said he qualified on pole position originally, so he's looking like he'll have the pace today. One to watch out for, certainly, as we go flying down the Kemmel Straight. It's going to be side by side action here. I think Jacobs pulling alongside potentially Christian Vrazilov as we come into the chicane for the first time. Is Jacobs going to be able to make the move on Vrazilov? Up the inside he'll go, the American. Is he pulling it off? Vrazilov holds to the inside, goes all the way to the outside and back to the inside. Great move, great defensive driving from Vrazilov. Holds off Jacobs, who's now under a little bit of pressure from compatriot Philip Blum, who's looking like he's trying to get into the top 5 following some bad luck last time out, and previous time out. Hopefully it comes together today for him, Craig.
Well, I am ecstatic that everybody got around the first couple of bends safely. We have had nobody taking throughout. And it's great also to see, Toby, that the weather has played dividends for us this time. Because last time out, it was a complete rain race, and we had 7 retirees. Let's just hope that this race we are going to see fewer than those. As we can see, we're on board with Craig McDonald. He's climbs up into 7th now. He's just overtaken Nick Cantwell. We can see here Colin McAllister up in 2nd. A nice mixture of people on softs and mediums, so it's going to be interesting to see over these 8 laps how long or how far these drivers can push these tyres. As we can already see from 3rd onwards, there's at least 3.1 second gap, Toby. So some of these softs and Callum Spencer's keeping them mediums going. So let's see how these tyres come along.
So Andrew Pavia and Colin McAllister are streaking ahead of the competition in a very much a 2-horse race on the first lap of the Belgian Grand Prix. Pavia holding on strong there, but McAllister will follow through. So we follow all the cars coming through into the bus stop chicane. Everyone gets a little bit chocked up, and so far no major chaos occurring on lap number 1, which is good to see as always. So everyone thundering through on, like you say, a complex differential of tyre strategy. We can see Callum Spencer is our lead medium driver, and then the next medium driver is Philip Blum. Big lock up into turn 1 from someone there. Not sure who that was, but we'll see if anyone has been compromised on their run. And I think Craig McDonald has a pretty decent opportunity here, and he actually gets quite a bad exit from La Source and loses that opportunity on Philip Blum, who's struggling to warm up those medium compound tyres, but will all come through into Eau Rouge for the 2nd appearance. And everything looking very calm compared to some of the races we've seen here at Spa, Craig.
Yeah, so I also noticed the last couple of ends on the last chicane, that was one tricky area for last season's race again, because it was raining and everyone was just hitting the brakes and really taking each other out. And again, it was nice to see that everyone got around the first lap all unscathed. So as we can see, we're going towards the back. It looks like Toby Byrne is not on par today, but he looks like he's trying to go all the way around the outside of the Sim staff car. Will he make it a stick? Unfortunately not. He's just going to have to hold back. Toby will not be happy with how he's performing so far today, and neither will this guy, Marcus Townend. He's looking to go down the inside and he pulls it off. Gareth Liddon won't be happy on the... Oh, someone did just go a little bit wide there. Was that Andrew Pavia? Does this give Colin McAllister a look for the lead? He's going to look around the outside. No, Pavia shuts that door. He knows this circle like the back of his hand, as we said. Season 5 win around here. He's looking to make it a double Toby, and he's not going to make it easy for Colin at all.
Colin McAllister, of course, yet to score points so far this season, so I wonder if that's playing into his mind a little bit, that this is a really good opportunity to contribute to the points of CGM, or if he is just going to go all out. I've got nothing to lose anyway, so I'll give it everything. So we'll see what kind of strategy is employed here by McAllister this afternoon, but we can see Christian Vrazalov on the soft compound of tyre is making some good progress on Callum Spencer on the mediums. Callum Spencer has shut the door though, however, to just... Oh, Callum Spencer's gone very deep, a double front lock-up into the Blanchemont corner. Where has he gone? He's trying to come back onto the circuit. That's the racing line! Contact! Huge contact! And a virtual safety car, very understandably, is going to be deployed. And I think that's contact with Philip Blum. But Callum Spencer, clearly out of this race. Philip Blum, I think he made contact with, will surely also be out. And that was a very big one from Callum Spencer.
Someone's not very happy there. I was also just about to say, because Toby, you brought up, first of all, we'll talk about these replays. So here we are, we're on board with Callum Spencer. Going down back streets. Let's see what happens. Oh, it locks up. What does his right wheel just break? The suspension or the axle break? Who knows? And then he just tries a bit. Philip Blum's just come round the corner and he's just not sitting in time, not able to react. I was about to say, Toby, Philip Blum is on for also his first points of the season as well, as you mentioned about Colin. And yeah, he just comes around the corner and he just doesn't manage to get out in time. But he does manage to put the car back in a straight line, but with all that damage, look at his steering wheel there. He's trying to go in a straight line, but he's got it on such an angle. So Will he have to retire that car, or will they be able to get it fixed? Oh yeah, he's heading straight into them pits to see what they can do and eventually get that fixed, Toby.
It'll be a hefty pit stop if they're going to do that. They've got to replace pretty much the entire front suspension arm, so I don't expect to see much of Philip Blum remaining in this race. So Craig McDonald then, I'm assuming, was behind Philip Blum, and he might get a front row seat to a pretty scary accident coming around this completely blind corner. Look at that, it's like two Beyblades going at it in the middle of the racing line, and of course that's going to create a complete traffic jam as Philip Blum tries to recover a very damaged NAR Nissan back to the pit lane. As you can see, it's causing quite a bit of drama. The virtual safety car does come out, but look at that! Oh my goodness, it's something out of Robot Wars, Craig. It's such a huge impact, and very lucky that this series is virtual and not real, because I think both of these drivers might be taking a trip to our virtual medical centre. But Callum Spencer out of the Grand Prix. The virtual safety car is going to be called in, and we're going to get racing again. And Douglas Anderson and Craig McDonald are effectively side by side for what looks like almost a rolling start for this two. So virtual safety car pulled back in. Douglas Anderson looking to go around the outside of last source on Craig McDonald, taking advantage of the safety car restart. Side by side down into Rouge and Blonde, into Radion, sorry, they will go. And Craig McDonald has been surpassed by Douglas Anderson on the medium compound of tyre, but now we'll follow Douglas Anderson through and up the hill, and we'll get all the glory and benefit of that slipstream, the hole, being punched in the air by Douglas Anderson, and will he use that to get back around and get that position back as we have a train coming down the Kemmel Straight. It looks like McDonald's under a little bit of pressure himself from Josh Wood, but he's got nowhere to go. He's going to make it free abreast, and Wood backs out of it, understandably. McDonald to the inside, nothing doing. Anderson holds firm, and Josh Wood looking for anything. A little sniff of the rear wing of Craig McDonald, who tries to get that position back from Douglas Anderson, but Anderson is holding strong so far. But McDonald back to the inside once again, down the inside will he go, and Anderson just so much more confident on the brake. And are we seeing just on lap 3 that little bit of switch between the tyre compounds of who has the better grip at the moment? Because Anderson looking so much more comfortable on their medium compound of tyres, Craig.
Yeah, you are right. Like you said, their mediums could be playing dividends. Also, just to note that the ART team will be loving this. One car in third, one in sixth, chasing down, obviously, Beechwood, who are sitting down near the back of this race. So right now, they're probably looking at it going, we just have to keep this momentum. See if Douglas, who's that in the background? McAllister just getting a bit wide, making a bit of a sandcastle over there. Does that give Christian Razalov a look around the outside? It does. Does he? Oh dear me, Colin's just like not giving that place up too easily. And they pushed each other wide. Oh my God, getting sideways from Christian Razalov there. It's surprising nobody got taken out. And then Kevin Jacobs is just like, thanks lads, you keep fighting, I'll take the second position. So now we have Kevin Jacobs and Nemesis Racing up into second. And Colin McAllister is falling down, but he's still on for his first points, and he pushed them softs a little bit further and gained some more traction, Toby.
I think it's going to take a little while for both McAllister and Razalov to clean them tyres with how far they went off, and meanwhile, more battle doing as Jonathan Guerrero is going to be our first man, I think, into the pit lane. No, Douglas Anderson too. Interesting. Douglas Anderson on the medium compound of tyres has pit before some of the soft users. Very interesting strategy from ART here today. It's bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off for them, as we have an under investigation coming through. Understandably, this is probably going to be for the Callum Spencer incident into that corner where, well, we saw the reenaction of a live action via Beyblade, but we have a virtual safety car deployed. What is this for? And there's two NARs stopped on the circuit. It's Olav Odven and Philip Blum is stuck behind his teammate. A very bad day for Philip Blum, but Olav Odven, something has happened there, and it's actually got his teammate caught up behind his stricken car. So very bad day for NAR Nissan so far. But Blum was able to continue, and the safety cars look like they have brought him back into it a little bit, but his teammate's kind of undone the hard work. But we've been and gone through the virtual safety car once more, and Olav Odven's car has been cleared. So Colin McAllister will resume his pursuit of Christian Razalov.
Yeah, they're not going to be happy with that one. Obviously, we will try and hopefully find out what happened to Odven then. As we can see, a penalty is coming through. 5 place grid penalties for Callum Spencer, unsafe rejoin. I think unsafe rejoin is a bit of an understatement with that one. But yes, a 5 place grid penalty for the next race. Because we are on 3 place, but this hopefully might give us some clarification on what happened. So you can see there, he gets past the Beechwood car. on his way down round, and he just little flames out the back of his car. Is that his engine just going? And then unfortunately his teammate comes behind and he's just, we're just gonna stop here. And unfortunately his teammate's just like, I want to get past, but I don't want to damage my front wing. So unfortunately that's not a great day for the NAR Nissan team. As we can see here, we're on board with Craig Evans. We haven't spoken about Northern Lights Racing today, so here's Craig up in 10th. He's in the points. He's looking to push them softs a little bit further and get a few more points on the board for their squad. But yes, Toby, we're starting to see now, we're still under yellow flags, but we are starting to see some early pit stops, as you said, from like Douglas Anderson on the mediums. And I can see he's back on the mediums, so does he know something about these mediums that we don't? Are they going to push a little further than we expect?
Potentially he just feels a little bit more confident. As we can see Josh Martin, just to interrupt, Josh Martin going up the inside of Christopher Pettersson, and we've seen this move all day long and it always ends in drama every time we've seen it so far today. Josh Martin up the inside and goes completely off the road. Where is Josh Martin going? And he's going into his teammate! The two sim staffs have touched again for the second time this season. There is huge contact between the sim staffs, and look at the front wheel of Jack Tolchard. It is absolutely destroyed, and Tolchard is furious. And for the second time in a high profile accident, the two sim staffs, one of them is a championship contender. Josh Martin says sorry, but I don't think that's going to clear the room. But for the second time the sim staffs have come together and Jack Tolchard is in championship contention. What has gone on here at Simstaff? And it's such an audacious move to the inside, goes completely wide into the gravel, and in a haste to get back on the circuit, just not checking, and bang into his teammate nonetheless, Craig. And look at the damage, and this is probably when he realises what he has just done, and this is probably much less of a sorry, more less of a oh dear.
Oh, you can say that again. Like, he just lost control. Obviously, here we are on board with Jack, our leading driver of the season so far. And you can see his head. His teammate just goes off there. He does let go of the throttle, and then his teammate is just, hi, want to come and take your car instead? And then as you can see there, them wheels, they ain't pointing in the right direction anymore. So Jack will not be happy with that. I'm sure there'll be some stern words said in the post-race conference. I'd love to be a fly on the wall for that one. But I just point out, as we can see here on board with Toby Byrne also, I'll come back to my statement in a second, he's probably got a front row seat of this one. So as you can see, coming around, he's like, hi boys, to get out of the way. He makes a little contact, but does save the car. It'd be nice if he decided to yeah, exactly, I am on board with Toby there. But I was going to say, all the other construction teams around, so you've got Simstaff smashing into each other. Beechwood aren't doing the best today, and ART are up in second, and now Dougie Anderson is down in 16th. Other teams like Disconnect and Northern Light Racing will be looking around going, guys, we can gain on these today. Let's push and get some teams. The DRC has just ended, and we are back racing. Colin McAllister is still putting in some great lap times here with these soft tyres, up into third, and he is going to look at the second place car. Will he make a move? He looks on the outside. I thought he was going to do a little switchback then, but it just looks like Colin is just making it a matter of time, waiting for a mistake, Toby, and then he might pounce on it.
Yeah, I tell you, like you say, it's a very good day, a very good opportunistic day for some teams who haven't really had the best of luck with points this season, because Nemesis Racing, bottom of the leaderboard, currently in 5th and 6th. I think Pettersson's still yet to pit, so that will probably drop, but at the moment, there's a decent gap for some of these teams to get some points in today. As we can see, McAllister, again, is the only man who we have left in this race with a realistic opportunity to score some points, who has not yet scored points this season, so we could be down to just, we have potentially a bit of a lock-up. Was that from Andrew Pavia? I'm not sure what's happened there, but maybe he has just locked up them tyres as he gives it everything to make sure there is no rubber left on them tyres when he comes in and changes them over. No conservative measure from Andrew Pavia, who is having a race very similar to that of Season 5, where he's just checked out at the front. So very good stuff from from Andrew Pavia so far this afternoon. As we can see, the two McDonald's going to war, both on the medium compounded tyres, both taking a little bit of a dip into the sandcastle, but it is both McDonald's fighting for the last points available this afternoon, and we'll see who comes out on top on Craig and Macker. I can't actually remember who's higher in the championship at the moment, but both of the brothers are keeping a close eye on that, I'm very sure. So we come up towards the bus stop chicane, McDonald behind his teammate and looking for anything, nothing doing. There's quite a lot of smoke up ahead, so a lot of people locking up coming into this final bus stop chicane, and now we're going to see a medley of pit stops. We can see various cars go in, but the McDonald cars are not some of them. So we can see, and it looks like Kevin Jacobs has just popped out ahead of Colin McAllister. So Kevin Jacobs has popped up into P3 and has slotted himself between Vrazilov and McAllister, Craig.
I wonder if... Did McAllister pick up any body work damage, I wonder, and they took a bit of time to do that, but, you know, Jacob isn't going to say no to that one. Sitting there nicely in third position. He did get all the way up to second before, so he's just like, hey, I want that place back. And now he's on the fresher tyres. As we can see, a penalty is rolling in across our screen. 5-place grid penalty for Josh Martin. Again, another unsafe rejoin. So that is 2 cars for the next race with a 5-place grid penalty. So they'll be hoping, both cars will be hoping to a little bit better in qualifying for next week. But yes, with just 2 laps to go, everyone is starting to make a move to the mediums. We do still have a couple left on the soft. Unsure whether they still need to hit and change. But Kevin Jacobs here, Toby, is looking absolutely electric as we move all the way back to Hardacre in 9th team disconnect. But I was just pointing out, Kevin Jacobs, he could start to see himself in that second position and have an absolute worldie of a race today.
See Craig Evans going up the inside of Reinhard Ecker to the inside. You don't often see moves in. Pouhon pushes him almost off the circuit. Very aggressive driving from the Scotsman to take P9 away from the Austrian. Great move by Craig Evans, very decisive. We can see Ecker now under a bit of pressure from Byrne behind as well, but closes the door. We've seen that move is very hard to pull off. No one's been able to successfully pull that off all day long. We can see McAllister looking to try and make some kind of movement and get his position back from Jacobs, but Jacobs is also very close to Vrazilov, so is getting pulled along by that slipstream. Vrazilov punching a big hole in the air for both of these two to follow. But just to touch back on Kevin Jacobs, it's very easy to forget given how difficult his season 5 was and how difficult at times his season 6 has been. But Kevin Jacobs dominated season number 4 of the ISR AIC, and he got pole position for this race, but unfortunately carried a 5-place grid penalty over from his contact with Philip Blum and the like last time in Silverstone. So Kevin Jacobs on the Saturday was the fastest driver here, so it's very important to remember that when we're seeing his pace. His penalty is the only reason he started not on the front row, or else he could probably be doing what Andrew Pavia is doing right now. So Jacobs very fast today and very worth noting, and he's clearly made that work for him as we come down the start finish straight once again. Toby Byrne, P11, looking for the last points available. A little bit of lock-up from Craig Evans in front. Will that compromise him into La Source? We can see Sweder has just passed Pettersson in the background as well, as these guys will all run down towards down to Eau Rouge and Radion. I keep calling it Blanchimont today and getting my corners mixed up, but these guys certainly not. Following line of stern up the Kemmel Straight once more. It's going to be a 3-horse race, all of them getting squirrely and side by side as we come down the Kemmel Straight and looking for that slipstream. And we can see now 5 races have been completed. We can see this man, Toby Byrne's record. He obviously won in New Zealand, but it's not been totally amazing. However, a bit of a return to form in Great Britain, but it looks like a story of inconsistency so far this season, Craig.
Yeah, well, he's now got to hopefully be happy with his performance so far. He started at the back of the grid, and now he's literally just teetering on the edge of the last points. So yeah, his race is literally just gone.
Virtual safety car
We got a virtual
5,
safety car.
4,
What
3,
has happened? Oh no!
1.
Douglas Anderson!
Virtual safety car
What has happened
Full
here?
course yellow.
We need to see the replay on this one, but oh no! When we're just talking about ART, you're going to be loving this. That all the other teams around them are dropping. Here we are on board with Douglas Anderson. There's nobody in front of him. So what happens here? Going in. Hit the curb. Oh, he's got a puncture. Oh no! When he clipped that the curb, and he's just he will be so upset with that one. And yeah, just takes it off, but unfortunately has to put it in a position where the virtual safety car does have to come out. No, Douglas will not be happy with that one. As you can see there, oh yeah, look at that explosion of that tyre, and all the sparks just start flying. And yeah, he will be so disappointed with 1 lap to go to pick up a puncture on that race. So we've been given the green flag, the track is clear, and we are back racing. So here we are on board with Colin McAllister. He's still just keep on the back of Kevin Jacobs. He's just making sure that he's within contention if just in case Kevin Jacobs makes a mistake, and he can capitalise on getting that last podium spot. Kevin Jacobs is just trying to keep it on, and so is Christian Rezeloff. So as we're just about to obviously turn the last bend and start the last lap, Toby, it could be anyone so far.
It definitely feels as if this top 3 has closed in on Andrew Pavia in the last lap or so. I feel like this is the first time in quite some time we've seen Andrew Pavia in the same camera shot. So I don't know if Andrew Pavia's made a mistake or if these guys have just got such good pace, and Andrew is obviously just in a management phase of making sure he just cruises to the end, doesn't risk the engine. We've seen quite a lot of failures today. We've even seen punctures, so you can't be too sure. I don't know if Douglas run over some debris or if he has just had a natural tyre failure, but obviously Andrew is conserving his tyres and engine to make sure he doesn't have a heartbreak hotel on the final lap of the Grand Prix. But we can see some people who are a bit less concerned about the welfare of their cars is the group from 7th all the way down to 11th, and still in this huge train coming into Eau Rouge and Radion once again. Tom McDonald still looking for a way to better his brother coming into the Kemmel Straight, and this will be his last real opportunity, and he gets all squirrely on the exit. Is it going to be enough to go side by side with his brother? The 2 McDonald sponsored Macca Motorsports going side by side surely at the end of this Kemmel Straight, and no, I don't think Tom McDonald has the straight line speed to do anything about his brother. And a little lock up as he tries to close the distance on the break, and he's gone wide as well. It's a very messy set of corners for Tom McDonald, who will lose around 0.3 of a second to his brother ahead. And I think potentially maybe Tom McDonald has gone with a bit of a higher downforce setup. We saw this sort of in the Formula 1 sprint race last season. The McLarens obviously went with a higher wing to benefit them in the corners, but it just meant that Verstappen on the lower wing had the straight line speed, and maybe that is what we're seeing with the McDonald brothers there. But we can see this group is very tight knit still, but again, there's not really been too much movement. There's some movement. Rezeloff off the road, but somehow he's managed to come out and not allow Jacobs or McAllister to compromise him. So wow, this is going to be very close to the end then. Rezeloff making a mistake right at the end, and that's something ART will have their heart in their mouth following Douglas Anderson's retirement just a lap ago, and they'll be running to the final straight, running to the start-finish line, hoping. But it looks like Jacobs has actually made a mistake, and McAllister is now going to have an opportunity to go up the inside of Kevin Jacobs one last time. One last opportunity. Can he pull it off? No one has so far today, and he goes clean off the road, just like we saw Josh Martin, just like we saw Callum Spencer. This time, no one to come back on in front to. He checks his mirrors, and that's what everyone should have done. But it hasn't been the smoothest season for Andrew Pavia, but Spa seems to bring something special out in him. Up to the line he comes, and with a flawless drive from pole to flag, Andrew Pavia wins at Spa once again. The circuit that crowned him once now salutes him again. A driver in full command of his craft here this afternoon. We can see Gareth Lennon has now joined the tail end of this train, and it looks like we've had some movement. It looks like Tom McDonald's actually dropped a couple of places as Ecker and Evans now separate the 2 McDonald's cars. So we'll see what happens across the line, but I think it's nothing doing, and I think Tom McDonald will secure the last point available this afternoon, and that is the Belgian Grand Prix.
That was such a little risk towards the end there, obviously with the ART charges pushing through. As we can see here, Andrew Pavia, driver of the day, well deserved, back-to-back victories at Spa. Like you said, Toby, this race just brings something out in him, and it is thoroughly deserved for a nice top of the podium for JR1 Daytona. And yes, they're going to be celebrating into the night. So as we can see here, Andrew Pavia takes top spot with Christian Rezeloff taking second and the fastest lap award. Kevin Jacobs, well-respected third place, taking his 15 points. And again, there we go, Colin McAllister grabbing his first points of the season. A nice, respectable 12 points for him there. Ed Canwell finishing in 5th with his 10 points, with Josh Wood in 6th. Graham McDonald, first of the Macca Motorsports, taking 7th with Brian Hardacre in Team Disconnect in 8th. Craig Evans taking the 9th, and then Tom McDonald, the other Mac Motorsport brother, finishing out the points. Toby Byrne did a great drive, but just fell short of the line to grab his point of today, Toby.
Yeah, it was a great race up and down the field. Andrew Revere obviously dominating, Vrazilov making the most of it as well, getting up into P2. A disastrous day for Callum Spencer. He'll be reeling, I'm sure, with that result, but Kevin Jacobs gets his first podium of the season, so he'll be very happy with that. McAllister first place too. Gareth Lennon, another man with a strong drive. I think he went from P19 to P12. Jonathan Carrera, P13. Townend, 14, went from last to 14th. And then we have Swader. Very disappointing result for Swader, all things considered today. And then it's Martin, who will be in the naughty boy corner of the Sim staff office for the considerable future, and then it's Chris Pedersen just behind him. Philip Blum's bad luck continues. That's 3 weekends in a row he's been crashed into when he was in a points paying position. That man's bad luck has to end sometime, surely. But we'll look at the standings, and Christian Vrazilov, because of that incident, does actually now take the lead of the championship by 2 points from Jack Tolchard with 45. Byrne doesn't score today, he remains in P3 with 39 points. Douglas Anderson, similar story. P4 is on 37 points, but now Eka extends to tie him, as long as Jonathan Carrera does as well. Townend just 1 point behind, then 2 points to Pavia, who's tied on points with a three-way tie to McDonald and Lennon. So still an incredibly close championship, but a bad weekend for Sim staff has allowed Christian Vrazilov, Craig, to capitalise.
Yeah, as I mentioned during the race, everyone must be rubbing around seeing obviously Beechwood start near to the end, and then but obviously the Sim start colliding. So yes, Christian Vrazilov, it will happily take top spot with his little 2 points gap. And obviously Douglas Anderson is still there also, so both drivers will hopefully have a nice little mutual respect for one another, just going into the standings. You can see here Josh Wood on 34 points, Olive Ogden on 30, Ed Cantler on 29, and then we've got the 2 Northern Lights racing boys, Zach Swader and Craig Evans on 28-25, Craig McDonald, the Mac Motorsport on 18, Kevin Jacobs and Chris Pedersen for Nemesis Racing 17-16, Colin McAllister jumping all the way up with his 12 points to overtake the naughty boy that is Josh Martin on 11. Callum Spencer will drop down onto the last page with 10, and as we said, just the bad luck continues with Philip Blum, still yet to score his points. Hopefully we shall see him soon, Toby, score his first points.
He has had the worst luck I think we've seen in a long time in the ART, but ART, we mentioned, were having a very good day. Could have been better when Anderson got his puncture, but they still did enough to take the lead of the championship by a 9-point gap to Beechwood, who have a decent gap to JR One Day Turner, who have come out of nowhere thanks to Andrew Pavia's win this afternoon. They've been quietly consistent this season. It's really beginning to pay off for them, the highest American team on the grid, and then Team Disconnect is lining up just behind them in P4, and then we have obviously the midfield, but Nemesis Racing Team have pulled themselves out of last place by 3 points, and NAR Nissan, we talked about a weekend to forget for the American team. Really needs something better going into the second half of the season, because this, obviously we saw Olav Odven go almost to the end of the championship, still searching for his first victory in the series, of course, but he was very consistent. I mean, he actually got a podium last time out in Silverstone, so really not the team performance that is reflective of who they are, and they'll be wanting for a little bit more. But we can see there's a very compact grid still. Anything can still happen. ART DHL have capitalised and taken the lead of the team's championship. But yes, Craig, any closing thoughts as we head into Italy for round number 7?
Like you said, it's just mid-table teams must be looking around going, we can still gain on these and get our way up the table. But as I said before, ART, both drivers are having an incredible season so far, and I bet you the word in their camp is just, let's continue, let's just keep pushing and pushing forward and making this gap between Beechwood and everybody else even bigger. So let's see what next race brings out, Toby.
We will. Until then, we will see you next time out for Lago Maggiore in Italy for round number 7 of this thrilling tale. Thank you so much to Craig McDonald for the join in the comms again this season. And until then, folks, we will see you then, and goodbye.